Right as you go coughing.
Hello, everybody. Oh, lots of messages.
There was
Yeah, I had to wait until Mrs. Spec was going to be home to figure out the hour that we could go live. So yeah, that's why it was at this time. And Patrick,
Oh, sorry. So Mark is here.
yes.
Also Patrick.
Hello, Patrick. On the sound, I have the microphone farther down on me because you're going to hear me coughing, and I don't want to cough directly into the microphone. So you may have to turn up your volume a little bit.
Mark says I have to change my cell phone plan. Cost me way too much.
I don't even want to ask how much that is.
Yeah. Mark says we used to have terrible internet at home. I had to keep jacking up the amount of high speed gigs on my phone to keep my wife happy. Now we have fiber optic internet.
Yeah, they put that in here too, not long ago. Hello, Patrick. Hope you're doing well tonight. Uno sent me a message, said everybody's under snow tonight. You should go live tonight because nobody's gonna have anything to do. I said there's some sense in that.
Hi. Went dress shopping today.
Yeah.
Because I have a wedding coming up, but I didn't find anything that I like within my budget. So I think I'm gonna have to turn to Shane or something like that. Mark says I have a shared plan with the two phones. It's almost 300 a month.
Wow.
Oh, talking about
Should we
plans.
should we tell them what we pay here for our plan that covers everything?
Well, no, it doesn't cover everything, sure.
It's everything that we need.
But how many gigas do you have?
Well, our plan for each phone is how much is it a month? 200
240, 250.
250 pesos a month. And then if we need, like if we go out on the road,
But how many gigas do you
we
have?
we can buy wow.
See, he has 500 gigs.
Well, yeah,
So,
that's a lot.
yeah, we don't have
We don't need
gigas.
that much. We don't need anywhere near that because we each bought when we went out on this last trip. We bought 12 gigas for each phone because we were going to be on the road. My phone was going to be used, for the live, and then Mrs. Speck's phone was going to be used as the internet for our tablet, using the data on her phone.
Also for the GPS.
Yeah, and it was like 300 pesos for the 12 gigs, which we paid in advance because last time I did that, it cost me 1,500 pesos.
Thunderbird is here.
Hello, Thunderbird.
1968. Very important.
Was about to go to bed. Are you tired? We're gonna be up for a while here.
Talking about plans. I don't remember who was asking me about looking into getting um what's that internet that they were talking about? The
Starlink.
Starlink. Yeah, they were talking. They were asking me to look into Starlink. So I looked into it. It will be 900 pesos a month.
Just for steady internet out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we can't do that.
No. Thunder versus it's almost 10 p.m. here. It's almost 10 p.m. here too.
He must be straight up from us. Mhm.
Mark says,
In Canada.
I think I can drop it at least half. I just want to go somewhere where I can deal with a human being in person.
Yeah, that's hard to find. Well, we have Telcel stores all over the place here. There's one within walking distance of the house, and they have like 12 people helping people in there. So there's always a human that we could go talk to, handle any of our stuff. So it's not the Mexico isn't as computerized as the U.S. is because what's the word? How many people need the service? The demand isn't as much here, so they can handle, just having a few offices.
Marcus said 11:48, so 1 hour over.
Yeah. No, he's 2 hours.
So, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Te voy a quitar el micrófono, vas a ver.
So there's no office, Mark, of your cell phone company that you could go in there and sit down with a consultant and say, here's what I want. How much is it going to cost me? Or even on the phone. On the phone, we can still get people on the phone here.
Yeah.
After a few punching of numbers to get through the menu, but people do answer, and they're actually here in Mexico.
I don't have my phone on. Sorry.
So they closed the brick and mortar office where they were doing the customer service. That's wonderful.
They were doing the same thing with the. Oh, sorry. They were doing the same thing with the banks here. Remember with the.
Yeah, they were going to, but they didn't. That was all during COVID stuff. They were gonna make you deal with everything on the phone and all that stuff.
No, it was not with COVID. It was a couple months ago.
What, they were gonna close all the branches?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Not long ago. Mark says, I don't trust any cell phone rep over the phone. The one I went to, yes. Now it's just mostly kiosk in malls. Dr. Go is here. Sorry, Dr. Go. I didn't saw you.
Hello, Dr. Go.
Dr. Go said, just saw you were live. Sorry I missed joining earlier. I am so hoping you get well very soon. I am bummed you are suffering through that cough and sickness.
Thank you very much, Dr. Go. My doctor is going to have to tell me what the cause of it is and give me the right medicine. The medicine that my son recommended did do what it was supposed to do, but it's not solving the problem with the phlegm in my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is coming up. I mean, I keep sneezing, blowing my nose, and a lot is coming up at one time. So my body is creating that. Thunderbird 1968. That's a no-no. Calling a Ram Charger a Durango. That is a no-no. It's a two-door, and it's a wide truck.
Sorry, I have one thing.
But this one is a cool truck because it's a very rare 4-speed manual, which there are very few of. And it's in really nice condition, too. I might have published it already. I'm not sure if it's the same as the red one that I published. I tried to use the humidifier last night. What is it? Is that what it's called? Humidifier?
Nebulizer.
Nebulizer. But it didn't seem to work. Should I go get my zapper and kill the mosquitoes that are coming at us?
Is there mosquitoes?
Yeah, there's one right around here.
On the inside.
Well, you're sleeping in here, so. Wonder where the dog is.
Oh yeah, there's a mosquito right there.
I kind of like the basic wheels, the center caps, just the. Yeah, these models are only Mexican. They weren't made anywhere else. I like the base model with the center cap, the steel wheel center caps, the most basic looking truck.
Thunderbird says basically you should try a salt humidifier. We do not need to try a salt humidifier because we live near the beach. We're near the beach, so we already are in a salt humidifier area. So that's not necessary. Didn't you Ram Chargers were Mexican? Yes, they are. So the Bronco looking 4-door on the thumbnail.
That is called a Ford B. In that year, it's a Ford B200 carryall. That was started out life as a regular cab short bed, actually half cab. It didn't have the roof, just the windshield. And when it was new, the chassis and cab was sent to a conversion company, and they made what you see there. It came in either 3 doors or 2 doors for whoever bought it new, because there were no vehicles in Mexico that looked like that. The Chevy Suburban didn't start selling here until 1987. So there were no family vehicles, no family vehicles that you could buy that you could put your family in. So Ford had to make them. Dodge also made some, and they also made some on Chevy, but those were mostly work vehicles.
Dr. Go says, hey to Patrick. Then they say, I have had lung phlegm from walking pneumonia, where I was sick for about 4 months, working from inside a hot steel mill, and then working outside in the snow back and forth. He was
Oh my
miserable.
God. Yeah, that has to take a toll on your body,
Yeah.
going from one extreme to the other.
Mark says to Mexican Spec, hey, no mosquitoes here. Just saying.
Okay, which would you rather have, Mark? A few mosquitoes or be buried under feet of snow?
Mark says to Mexican Spec, I can tell the rear doors look like an afterthought.
Yeah, those were created by the conversion company. And some of them had the tailgate that folded down, and some had the barn doors. It's however the original owner wanted it made. That's how it was made. Like I was telling at Zero in the chat tonight, the 70, it was a 74 or 77 B100 carryall that I bought for a client last year. It was originally purchased, actually I think it was paid for and then donated to I don't know what you call a bunch of nuns.
Nunnery?
It has a name.
Nunnery?
Yeah, a gaggle of nuns. I don't know, something like that. And they used it for their whatever they needed. They
a convent.
Yeah, whatever. they put, I don't know, 10 nuns in there or whatever. But when I bought the truck, it still had a rosary hanging from the rear view mirror. And when I sold it, I delivered it with the rosary, and the buyer said that it's going to stay right there always, because that's who the original owners were.
Dr. Go says Wisconsin gets tons of mosquitoes in summer and lots of cold and snow in winter. I guess that makes me crazy a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any standing water here will make mosquitoes grow. So I try to make sure there's no standing water. But this past week, I've been staying in the house. So I'm not sure where they're coming from. There were a few in the bathroom right here, and I guess they make their way out. But we've had a lot fewer mosquitoes this past year, than ever before. So I think we're doing something right.
Thunder versus yeah, I've had major phlegm issues before for like over a month, though it was bronchitis, but eventually went away on its own. I think I have sinusitis, but the salt machine and saline rinses help.
Yeah.
I don't know if you will be able to do saline rinses.
I don't know if I would be able to. I'd probably cough it all up and choke on it. I'm gonna see what my doctor has to say. He'll listen to my lungs, and
You don't have to yell.
and yes, I do, because it's down here.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No.
Can you guys hear us okay? I just want to know, because last time, yesterday when we did this, Kim said that she couldn't hear very well.
It was given someone else. I think Mark.
Yeah, it might have been a problem on her end, but I just want to make sure you guys can help, can hear, because for the way I'm talking, it's obvious that I have some little problem. But the doctor will tell me tomorrow or Tuesday what's going on, because I want to get in there first thing in the morning on Tuesday.
Mark says, so my first car was a 73 Nova I bought for $100. The owner took his St. Christopher medallion out of the car. I put the car in the ditch 3 days later. Then I got my own medallion and no issues after.
You paid twice as much for your first car that I did for my first car. She's sitting in the backyard here. Like I said on the chat, this car was owned by the original family. They bought it in 1963. The husband and the wife went down to the local Plymouth dealer, and they ordered the car how they wanted it, which the car has power steering, power windows, air conditioning, um, big block, 2 barrel, but no power brakes. The wife begged for the power steering because it would make it easier to drive, but the husband just flatly refused to trust power brakes. So that's how they ordered the car. So they parked it in 1977 in front of their house, and of course all 4 tires went down. I bought the car in 1982, and because they were forced to get the car out from in front of their house. And when I bought the car, there were pennies in all 4 armrests. They were filled with pennies. So every time you close the door in this car, you hear the pennies, joshing, moving around in there. So now Tony says that the 1982 and back pennies are the ones you want to have, and every penny that's in that car has been in there since before 1982. So I know they're the good ones, but they're staying in there no matter what, because I cannot open her doors and close her doors without hearing that sound.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be that sound has to be in there.
Thunderbird says, careful if they wrongly diagnose you with bronchitis. They will try to give you antibiotics, and if it's viral, it will only wreck your gut without helping anything.
I've been going to this doctor for over 20 years, so I trust him. He's an internist. He knows what he's doing. If he needs to send me for blood tests or whatever, he can do that. But he'll get all the information before he gives me anything.
Mark says, lol, my first card is long gone.
Yeah.
Patrick says, yes, here fine.
See, Mark, the thing is that I never chased speed. I never modified my cars. She is exactly the same with a few exceptions, which is I sanded down her roof and I primered her roof and one of her fenders. But other than that, she's exactly the same as I bought her in 1982. Other than she runs. She didn't run when I bought her after sitting for 77 since 1977.
Dr. God says, wishing you a good and healthy outcome as fast as you can. Being sick like you haven't is exhausting. Good night and take care all.
Thank you, Dr. Go. Good night.
Good night, Dr. Go.
I really need to get better because we need to deliver this Ram Charger that we have in the paint shop now. So.
Josh Holman is here.
Hello, Josh. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thunderbird asks, did Mexico get any Thunderbirds?
No, there were no luxury cars here. But I'll tell you one Thunderbird I saw when I recently moved here in 1999. It was in a friend of mine's neighborhood. It was a 64 or 65 that had been cut into a limousine. It was an extended limousine that had 4 doors on it. And I was fascinated by that car, but I didn't have enough money to buy it at the time. And I have not seen it since. It's got to be around here somewhere. But I have not seen it since. That was an ultra cool car. Because you never see Thunderbird limousines.
Max is cool.
And if it was a 65, that means it has the sequential turn signals, which is even better.
Good for you.
I know it wasn't a 66 because it didn't have the solid tail light across.
Can you close the door?
Cat's out. The dog should come in though.
Somebody says me.
Come on, Oscar. Go on your bed. Come on. Súbete. Súbete. Okay.
Thunderbird says me.
I wish I could find it now. I'd definitely make a deal on it.
Yep.
I don't have any place to put it. It's so long, but it would be a conversation starter. And since they didn't sell Thunderbirds here, I know it's not an original car to Mexico. Like when I bought my 63 Savoy, I had already made a deal on it. And then Mrs. Spec and I looked in the Facebook and found a 1970 Ford Galaxy limousine, stretch limousine that was for sale. And it was for sale really cheap, like 35,000 pesos. And we went to look at it, and we didn't know it was a bad area of town, but we went to look at it, and it was inside a warehouse that had flour in it or something, which I should not have been in there. But I'm looking at the car, and the car was never used commercially. It was bought originally by this family, and he took his kids to school in it and did a few things. It had like 30 or 40,000 kilometers on it from new. And I've had these kind of cars before, and I got in. I put in the key in the ignition, and the ignition was so tight, like it was brand new. I turned the key, it fired right up. It had air conditioning, not for the driver, but for the passengers in the back. It had a compressor on the hood, and under the hood, and it had an air conditioning unit in the trunk that would blow air conditioning on the back of the necks of the people in the back. But the driver and the front passenger didn't get any air conditioning in there. But it was such a neat car, and tight. I mean, tight, like a brand new '70 Ford that was. The cars for sale right now. This was in 2013. The cars for sale right now for 250,000 pesos. I know it's the same car.
Mark says, a friend of mine bought a 64 Mustang and was slowly restoring it. Well, one day that came to an end when he dropped it off his hoist.
Ooh, yeah,
Josh Homan says, looks like a Greenbrier van.
that was a Dodge A100. So the Greenbrier was a Chevy Corvair.
Thunderbird says, yeah, all you older fellas talking about buying cars in the 80s. I wish I wasn't even alive then.
Yeah,
I
it was
wish I
it
wasn't
was
even alive
it
then.
was so easy.
Sorry.
People gave those cars away. Like the '66 Ford you're looking at, I think I paid 600 for a convertible, red. I mean, the car was trashed, but it ran well. Had a 352 in it, top down. Who cares what the body looks like? It drove great.
Well, how old are you, Thunderbird?
He's young,
How young? I want to know if I have to respect him or not.
and I'm out. And his name stands out because I also had a Ford Thunderbird, 1968.
Thunderbird says, that red Ford there is so cool.
There's quite a few of these Galaxies here. Ford was a big seller here because they were the only company to offer a V8 engine in the cars. All Chevys and all Chrysler products had inline sixes. So people would go buy more Fords because they wanted the power.
Mark says, stuff goes down, price goes up.
Not really on this one because let's see, it was the right rear quarter panel had been hit a bit and it was kinked just a little bit.
Thunderbird says, I actually just turned 28. You're just a baby. Come on. You're still wet on the back of the head.
Behind the ears.
Oh, that in Spanish is behind in the back of the head.
Well, in English, it's behind the ears.
Okay, you're still wet on behind the ears. Josh Roman says, yes, those 60s vans are tricky to tell apart.
Yeah, they're very similar, but like if you the only one that had the shifter on the dash was the Dodge. And I know Fords really well because my dad had a '63 model that almost got us killed 100 times. And I never had a Chevy though, neither a Corvair van or the flat nose van. I never had any of those. I was never into trucks or vans back then. But now I would love to have a Dodge. I would love to have a mid '70s Dodge van and deck it all out and everything. That would be great.
Mark says, hey, our toilet water is running again.
That's good. So is ours. The flood went down in the front of the house, and now we can use our toilet too.
Does it sound like ice cubes every time you flush? Like a margarita machine.
You know the guy Luis in Buff and Kim's lives.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Venezuela,
Mm-hmm.
where all the bad stuff went down, but he's actually in the southern hemisphere. So he's in summertime right now. We're always talking about the guys in Australia and New Zealand that are in the other, they're not experiencing the same thing, but he's in the same thing. Venezuela's pretty far down there. So I asked him, "Is it summertime there?" And he's like, "Yeah." That's all he said. I mean, this guy's young. This guy's younger than you, Thunderbird.
Thunderbird says, I paid 6,000 for my Thunderbird. Needed an engine, I found out, but back in the day, I'm sure it was worth a fraction of that.
Yeah, I didn't pay anywhere near that for mine, and mine was impeccable. I mean, it was the light green. I think it had black leather interior, all that stuff. But every time I drove that car, it felt like people were trying to hit me. I'd drive down the street and somebody would pass a stop sign and cut in front of me. So I sold the car in quotes in on payments to this kid. This guy I knew. He was from El Salvador, I think, and of course he never paid me. And then I don't know, a year and a half later, I get a notice that the car's sitting in an impound yard in North Hollywood, and so I went over there and got it out because I was the legal owner on the car. And sure enough, the car had been hit on every corner. It had little damage everywhere all around the car. So I'm glad it happened to him and not to me. But I did not feel comfortable driving that car at all.
Mark says, is the line in the wall that freezes when temps drop like they have been in the last few days? I know.
He sent me what he's going to be dealing with over the next few days. Negative 35 every day. Yeah. No words for that. No words for that. I want to sell one. I want to find one of these 67 Coronets that is reasonably priced, that's in decent condition, reasonably priced, and sell this to somebody in the U.S. so they can have a Mexican Coronet over there, and people's eyes are going to pop out because of the Dodge Charger front end on it and the Coronet RT taillights and all that stuff.
Thunderbird says, I recently bought a 1976 F-250 Highboy. Those were sold in Mexico, do I think?
The F-100 was sold here. We never had four-wheel drive anything here. And we never had three-quarter ton anything here either. You know, you would think that Mexico being so underdeveloped, not many roads, you go off road a lot, you would need four-wheel drive, but nobody sold a four-wheel drive in the 70s here, except for International, I think. I've seen a few Internationals and Jeeps.
Josh says, looks like a well-kept car.
Yeah, a well-kept car, or they redid it, because that does not look like original interior, the tufted seats and all of that. And there's one coming after this one's that's purple, and you can compare the interior in what it looks like. But interior here is done so inexpensively that people do their own design. They don't go back to the original or anything.
Thunderbird says, I thought the drug lords had 4x4 trucks.
If they did, they brought them in from the U.S. They were not sold at the dealerships here. It wasn't until much, much later they started selling 4x4s. Hello, Barry.
Very good. Hi. They say, I don't want to see people's eyes popping out. What?
I do.
No, you.
What fun is that for their eyes not to pop out?
What?
I want to see one of these at a car show, and the experts in quotes walking around saying Dodge never made a Coronet with a Charger front grille. I want to see that. I want to hear it. I mean, there's nothing better than this Charger front grille. Nothing better. When it works. When it works. And Tony's does not work. And he has no plans on getting it working.
I'm cold, man.
It is so cool to watch the headlights flip around. See, this is more of a standard design, which has the pleats, like they did in the 60s. Although this one has the front part of the seat that goes across, which probably did not have when it was new. Yeah, Thunderbird. They're also sold in places like Arizona where people go, have fun off road. But they just didn't come into Mexico. There were very few vehicles offered at each dealership. I think that it was my understanding that each dealership was allowed to have 4 model names for sale at any one time. And that's proven by the fact that when the Gremlin actually came out in 1970, but it didn't come out in Mexico until 1974 because the Rambler here was selling the Javelin up until 1973, and when that one went out of production, they brought in the Gremlin to start selling it in its place.
Mark says, I'd like to have something like that and show my old boss. He would say it doesn't exist.
Exactly. He would say, "No, somebody changed that. Somebody did that. No, that came out of the factory like that." It's so many people can't realize that there's a car business outside of the United States. And every car company in Mexico purposely made their cars different. Like this car you're looking at here, this Galaxy, is a Ford Galaxy. It looks like an LTD, but it's not. It's a Ford Galaxy with LTD parts on it because the LTD was not sold in Mexico. This is a Ford Galaxy sports roof, and somebody ordered the LTD headlights and a few other pieces on it. I've also seen a 1968 Ford Country sedan that had the covered headlights here in Mexico, and it had the upscale wood interior that the Country Squire would have, but it had no wood on the side because no Country Squires were sold here. So they mixed and matched parts. See, if this was an XL or an LTD on the back of this car, it would have reflectors going across between the taillights, and it doesn't. It has the Galaxy trim back there.
Mark says, chances are, though, my old boss would say that's Mexican car.
How would he know? Has he studied Mexican cars? Most people don't know they even exist, which is fine. I teach a lot of people a lot of things.
Thunderbird says, I've been to Trinidad and it really opened my eyes to the car market. They never stopped making the Ford Ranger, just stopped it in North America.
Yeah. No, we've had the Ford Ranger every year here since I don't know when they started selling it. They didn't start selling it in '83 when the U.S. started selling it. It probably came in much later, but we've always had that European-looking Ranger here. But it's only a four-cylinder manual stripped model. You didn't get to. There's no options on the things here. You don't get to put a V6 in it. You don't get to put four-wheel drive. You don't get to put anything on it. You take what they have and you drive it. They're work trucks.
Mark says, oh, he's pretty amazing with his car knowledge.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what he knows about it.
Thunderbird says, thanks for
It's my pleasure. When I get to talk about cars.
Let me finish my sentence.
It's right there.
So, it's my sentence, not yours. You can't see it.
Well, say it.
No.
See if you can say that word.
No. You're so rude.
I like talking about cars, but it took me a few years.
I can tell.
It took me a few years to learn everything here because my experience and knowledge is U.S. cars. So learning everything that I've learned over the past, I don't know, 20-something years that I've been here has been a huge education for me. You know, the first time I saw a Mercury Capri Coupe that said Ford Mustang on it, you have to question, what the hell is that? How did that come out of a factory like that? So I had to do some investigation and see what happened.
Mark says, and come to think of it, he's been to Mexico as well, so he might know.
Yeah, he might. But they sold very few 67 Coronets, so it was not a very popular car.
Thunderbird says, are you from the U.S. originally?
I was born here, but raised in the U.S., and I came back here in 1999. Been here ever since. And I really don't want to go back.
I'm anxious.
I'm not really anxious to go back. You know, I lived in Vegas for 10 years. You see a police car behind you, you get butterflies in your stomach. What are they going to do? It doesn't matter if you've done anything or you have all of your stuff, in order. They're still going to stop you for something. Somebody in the U.S. needs to get together, and make this a national thing to get rid of the license plate light law in every state, which gives the cop a reason to pull you over. Because every license plate in the United States now is reflectorized. And when they get behind you with their headlights on, they see very clearly your license plate. So there's no reason to have a light on it from above it, which doesn't let them see anything anyway. It just gives them a reason to pull you over and start investigating you. That needs to go away. Nobody's thinking about that, but so many people get pulled over needlessly for that stupid thing. I think we're gonna have to fix the one on the Ram Charger before it goes too. Come to think of it, the license plate um, is in the center console, the lens. I don't know where the actual light is up in the tailgate. All of my car buying was in Southern California or Las Vegas, but at the time it was the 90s, and there was tow companies all over Las Vegas. It's a huge business. If you have an expired tag on your plate, they tow your car. They tow your car for anything, and people will come and visit Las Vegas with their out-of-state cars. Their registration will expire. The car gets impounded. They never get it back. So the impound yards was a good place to buy cars, and I bought cars for $5 out of those places, and that's the reason why I had a huge storage yard full of over 100 cars, all registered in my name, all titled, all everything, all insured, sitting there. But I never really did anything with them. So that was always my mistake, and my fury can tell you that instead of fixing her up to be like brand new, I would buy the next car, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and all the way down the line. And I would have all of these cars, but then none of them are getting fixed really.
Another saying, "Gotta love the police." Then they say,
I know that's sarcastic.
yeah. And then they say, both my parents are from Michigan, but they moved to Albert in the 70s and raised a family.
Yeah, they thought it was better in Canada. Do you know what city they were from in Michigan? That looks like rust in the corner. Stereo stuff. I don't understand putting stereo stuff in a car, especially one that doesn't have a roof.
Mm-hmm.
So easy to break into one of those. The more that I look at this thing, it does not look like a good one.
Mm-hmm.
The roof needs to be painted. It's on air suspension though.
Josh Thomas says, well, flying safari.
Yeah, that's what we call them here. And they were for sale here from the 1970 model year to the 1980 model year. So that would be 11 years, I guess. It may have started in 71. It might have started in 71. Because I don't think I've ever seen a 70 model for sale.
Never says they are missionaries. They came to start a church. My dad is actually from Detroit.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There's wood on
the time to leave Detroit was in the 80s and the 90s. The 70s, it was still doing pretty well.
There's wood on the bottom of the car.
No, that's the floor covering. So when you get it at the beach, all the stuff falls down there. You can just take that out and clean it, and water and sand and everything. This one does not look very clean. I'm seeing rust in the joints and stuff. Oh, it's way overpriced for what the car actually is. You be quiet out there, needy cats. You gotta
Is
look
that
at
a kind of beer?
the count of something. Don't you love how they respect the vehicle they're taking pictures of because they want to sell it? Ah, yeah, yeah.
Never says, yeah, Detroit's a mess.
Yep, sure is. I think they're coming back, but it's been bad for a long time. I like the blue on the start. It looks good. The stripe on the trunk, I'm not so sure about though. But again, if you'll notice a lot of the cars that I post, they're mid 70s like Plymouth Dusters. They're still riding on their original wheels. They still have their original interior. Some of them still have the original paint and in good condition. There is no culture here of, oh, let's throw those wheels away, let's put big wheels on them and do all this stuff. I challenge you to find a daily driver Duster out there that's still riding on its original wheels and everything like that. They just don't exist anymore in the US. They've all been bought up by kids and modified and put big wheels on and all that stuff. So the cars here, they're going to cost a bit more because of the transport and everything, but you're getting there's no rust in these cars here. So you're going to get a platform to build whatever you want to build on it.
Thunderbird says, I had a friend in Monterrey. Other than that, I don't know anything about Mexico.
Yeah, we went to Monterrey to buy the first Ram Charger that we bought, and I was not impressed with the place. Not at all. Although there may be nicer places in Monterrey, but we stayed at a hotel downtown, and the guy drove us around, in his little car, and it was raining. And then after I bought it and I'm on the way out, there's freeways all over the place and one curbing over the other. I didn't like it. When we flew in the 3 days before to the city of Chihuahua, in the state of Chihuahua, we flew in. It was the plane arrived late at night. The place was so clean. I mean, it was beautiful. There wasn't very many cars on the road because of the time of night, but everything was so clean everywhere you looked. So yeah, I prefer Chihuahua over Monterey.
Chihuahua was really nice, but I did went to Monterrey on a different date than he did with my friends, and I did enjoy the city. What I did, where I went, and where I stayed, it was really nice.
It just seemed more industrial to me, which is not as inviting to me as a clean city that is for the
It
public.
could have been where you were staying. Where I was staying, it was really nice.
I don't know. It was when we drove around, it was the sense I got that it's not a place I wanted to be.
Mm.
But if there's a car there that I sell, I'll go back up there and get it and drive it down.
And it was in my hotel.
Oh, I didn't know what your hotel was at the time. I didn't want to be far away from where the truck was because Monterey's a fairly decent sized city.
Mm-hmm.
Where we live, you can get an Uber here and it'll cost as low as 30 pesos to as much as 50 or 60 pesos to drive all the way across town.
No, it's like 80.
No, I go from here to Gustavo's place, and that's 50 pesos. The guy that took me over there to Gustavo's place, it was 30 pesos.
I go from here to the hospital.
It was 30 pesos that he charged me.
I go from here to the hospital.
So of course I gave him more.
80.
Yeah, that's
the other side of the city.
Yeah, it's the same thing I'm doing over there. And for some reason, it was 30 pesos. I'm not going to give you just 30 pesos, guy. So it's like, a little bit more than $2.
There I go, man.
I gave him. It doesn't matter. But when we get into an Uber in Guadalajara, 150 over here to go 130 over here, because everything is just so far away and there's so much traffic and it takes so long. So it costs a whole lot more.
That was Guadalajara. Mexico City. Up to 700, 800. Because everything's so long. Because it's like so much traffic and it's so far away. Thunderbird says Brazil has a very interesting car history with Ford, especially. I think they had some pilot plants there or something.
Yeah, they built their own cars over there. They built the 66 Ford Galaxy way up into the 80s. But I can give you a link to their eBay site, and you can look at the cars. The prices that they want for their old cars, you could buy Corvettes. You could buy old Corvettes in the U.S. for what they want for a Ford Galaxy there. The prices are just unbelievable. I don't know how people pay that stuff for old cars there. I really don't.
And Josh Thomas says those cars look cute with the Christmas bows on them.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody bought it for a Christmas present
Hmm.
because eggs is not a good thing that you give for Christmas.
Eggs?
Yeah, that's an egg-shaped car.
Um, I would accept eggs.
You have to look really closely. Actually, I have to look really closely at these pictures because, at first glance, oh, it's a 1972 Volkswagen van. And then I blow the picture up and I see that there's probably Bondo on the front of the van, which is where you don't want it to be because obviously it hit something. And then that grill in the front doesn't fit right. And so I don't want to publish something like that. I still have it on my list in case anybody wants to look at it, but I will not publish it and like say, hey, I'm selling this.
KJ Kylie is here.
Hello, KJ Kylie. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're just having a late night, whatever this is.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood the mania for these Volkswagen vans, but they have a huge following. What I would like to do is create the following for the 1988 to the 2001 Mexican liquid cooled van, which is much better than these air cooled vans because you can actually drive it every day if you want to go to work, if you want to take a vacation. It'll keep up with the other cars on the highway, and your air cooled engine isn't going to blow up going up a grade on a freeway. So they're much better vehicles. And they are using a Volkswagen Golf engine, a 1.8 liter inline four cylinder. So that's the same engine they use in the U.S. and parts would be easy to get over there too. So it's not like it's a special engine that they used in there. The only thing, like I always told Chris, Driveway of Misfits, is that the radiator being in the front and the engine being in the back, there's coolant lines that run the whole length of the vehicle coming and going. So that's a huge amount of area to have a failure point. You have to keep your rubber hoses in good condition and make sure there's no little pinholes or whatever in all of the coolant lines that are running front to back. That's the way you keep your engine running well. But in these vans here, they were used. Most of them were used for deliveries. Like the potato chip companies would deliver the potato chips to each tiny little store in these neighborhoods, and they left them running all day long.
KJ says I'm resting off the shovel a foot of snow tomorrow.
You only have a foot of snow there. Everybody said that they're buried under snow. They can't get out.
Thunderbird says, yeah, those hoses sound like a disaster.
It could be. I mean, I haven't seen one in person. I had one sold, and then the client just like says, no, I don't want to do the deal. I'll try to find one stateside. Good luck with that, because most of them that cross don't have legal paperwork. So we found the perfect one for him. The first one we found was gorgeous, but apparently the van didn't exist, and that's good because it was in a very very dangerous area, which we were willing to go into, a certain way, and get out in a certain way. But then I found him one that had a burner so you could cook food, a propane burner, and it had a sink that you could wash your hands, and it had a working refrigerator in it, and it had a sofa bed in the back, and it wasn't the prettiest on the outside, but it was running well. The guy changed the timing belt every 2 years, kept up the maintenance and everything on it, and it was actually cheaper than the first one that he was gonna get, and it was like $9,000, including tariff and everything, crossed into the U.S. And he says, nope, don't want to do it. But okay, good luck finding one a liquid cooled van over there for anywhere near that price. Because anybody that goes through the trouble of crossing it, driving it all the way up through Mexico and crossing it and everything, they're going to be asking 2 or 3 times that amount for that vehicle over there. So maybe he'll come back someday. But that van sold immediately after the guy told me he didn't want it. Immediately sold.
¿Me das mi cobijita? Está ahí. Ahí está. No, no,
Where?
no, aquí, aquí, aquí.
Oh.
Gracias. Tengo la espalda fría.
I should have brought the Zappa. There's mosquitoes in front of the screen here.
I'm sorry, my back is cold.
Well, I would have to look. I would look at what the the, the coolant lines are made of, because if they're made of steel or whatever, they could easily rust in a rusty area. But we don't have that here, so it's
Steven Andrews
not
is
a
here.
thing. Hello, Stephen Andrews.
Steven Andrews says, I'm expect. Sorry, I'm late. Seahawks game. Going to Super Bowl. Wait, are you going to the Super Bowl or the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl?
KJ Kylie asked a question. What?
The KJ says, Max, do you have dual citizenship to help in your business?
Yes, I do. But here's the situation. I came into Mexico in 1999, and I've been here ever since. I've never had a passport. You were able to cross into Mexico and back without a passport. Now, in order to get back into the U.S., you have to have a passport. So, not that that matters to me because I don't want to go back. In my business, the buyer of the vehicle has to cross it into the country himself. Those are the rules of U.S. Customs. Or it has to be an authorized representative that can do it, that has to get an ID from U.S. Customs for them to be allowed to do it. But I really have no desire to go back to the U.S. I have everything I need here. My son is here. My wife is here. My little dog is here. And the annoying cats outside the door that want to come in.
Thunderbird says, I can appreciate how you feel about Mexican car ignorance. A lot of Americans are very ignorant about Canada too. For instance, almost all Crown Victorias are made in Canada.
Yeah. Most people know that because of the VIN starts with a 2. But I don't know if you know that most of the Ram Chargers, like they stopped selling the Ram Charger in the US in 93, they had all been made in Mexico. They stopped selling them in Mexico, the square body, in 96. They were all made in Mexico and sold in the US. Then it went out of production for 97, 98, when this new one came out, the round one came out for only the Mexican market, of course, made in Mexico. So, yeah, people don't really pay attention to where a vehicle is made. But more people don't understand, like the older, like the the Pontiacs in your country were on a Chevy chassis, where the Pontiacs in the U.S. were the wide track. They were on a Chevy chassis in the U.S. in Canada, which made them look weird because it was a narrower chassis. So they worked with what they had.
So, Steven, the black cat should actually be white.
What?
Steven put some cats on the screen. One of them is orange and the other one is black, but it actually should be orange and white.
That looks like a gray cat to me. Is that a cat or a mouse?
Cat.
We do have a gray cat. She's outside.
Yeah, she's not. She's a
Yeah,
cat.
you forgot the white cat.
Josh says, so we're 80s full-size Chevys, Chrysler LH cars, and many minivans.
Yeah, there was a lot of production being done up there.
Steven says, hecho en Mexico.
Yeah, completamente. But here's what people don't understand about the Mexican car market. Like, there was a guy in Florida that Ford Era is the name of his channel, and he's very heavily into the carryalls, but he gets them from Brazil. And he happens to have one from Mexico, and he did this big video on it, and he tells everybody that the cabin chassis was made in the U.S. and sent to Mexico to be converted into what he had. No, it was a Mexican made cabin chassis that was then sent to the conversion company. There's factories all over Mexico, like the Volkswagen plant is in Puebla. There's a Ford plant in Hermosillo, the next state up from us. Here in our town, we have a plant that makes Toyota wiring harnesses. People are in there all day long putting wiring harnesses together for Toyota vehicles. Oh well. Okay, then we'll use our imagination. But we do have an orange cat. His name is Danny Bonaducci. I only use his first name though. So every like there's a factory in every town making something for the automotive industry here. I really wanted to tour the Hermosillo plant, but they were transferring over at the time that I wanted to go. They were transferring over from production from one model to the other because I had just bought my 2005 Mustang, and my friend and I drove north up to Hermosillo to race it at the racetrack there, and we were in we were in McDonald's or one of the fast food places up there, and I was talking to him about wanting to do it, and the guy on the next table worked at the factory, and he says, "Oh no, you can't because we're changing over from one car to the other, so we don't have tours right now." Like, what a coincidence!
I remember that time.
Huh?
I remember that time
Yes.
for different reasons.
No, that was a different. That was the first time. It was the second time we had to race back. So the guy was talking to us because that was the first Mustang that he had seen. The first 2000 it came out in 2005. It was the first Mustang that he had seen because those were made in the U.S.
Thunderbird says, "Yeah, I've had a lot of parts that came from Mexico."
Yeah, supposedly people look for parts from Mexico. I don't know. Hecho in Mexico always meant to me very low quality stuff in the electronics business, but I guess in car parts, um, it's probably better than China.
Steven Under says, "Daniel Bonaducci was doing morning radio up here in Seattle. Might still be."
No, he's not because he's been very sick, and I think he lives in Florida now with his family. He's just taking care of his family, and they're taking care of him. And our cat has the same color hair that he does because I remember the hair when he was a kid on the TV show. He was one of the local kids that lived, just like they all did. Because I didn't live too far from where they all worked in California.
You're giving me a headache.
Why did I give you a headache?
You're giving me a headache.
Why?
Because of the loud noises.
Well, but they can hear us.
What? Will the Trill is here.
Hey, Will.
Will the Trill is good evening. Glad you're here. Going through a tough time.
What's happening, Will? Is it for the weather?
Thunderbird says, "I'd take Mexican over China any day. Got some Mexican points and condensers that seem to last well."
That's good. What we see here is people opening up Chinese stores all over the place.
Yep.
I mean, you would think that one in a neighborhood would be fine, but no, we have one within walking distance here, and then like 4 or 5 blocks up the road here, there's another. I mean, we're talking huge. We're talking about one that took over an ex supermarket.
Yeah.
That is now a Chinese store that has everything. And granted, when I need a new zapper, I'll go buy a new zapper there. But
Will says mostly yes.
You would think that with the production that we have here in Mexico, that those items would be sold before the Chinese, but no. Chinese stores are in every mall. They're in everywhere you can find now, and they're taking over, and that's not good. But it is super funny to hear Chinese people trying to speak Spanish. Super funny. All right, were you prepared for the weather, Will? Or are you having trouble with that? It's too bad this car sold. That would have been a nice car to publish. A factory stick shift on the floor, even though it's a slant six. That would have been a really fun car to drive back. I started putting only the price of the car and then having them contact me. But on my website, I have the full price. So like the celebrity that I published, it was $5,400 for the car. He's like, oh, so transport is going to be 5,000 whatever because you have it on your website for 10,000 whatever. I said, well, if you're serious about buying it, you contact me and I'll figure it out. But the exchange rate is down to like 17.30. I mean,
Going
it's dropped 60 cents in the past week.
Yeah. Number says, all I need to know in Spanish is donde está el baño.
Yep.
Fair, fair.
After you eat, yes, definitely.
Will says, it's just this weather that's putting me through some emotional stress. Yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it, so
That doesn't help.
it does help. It when I'm stressed about something, if it's something that I have no control over, I let it go.
Well,
I don't let it get in me and try to kill me.
Shush. So we're glad that you're here. Let's hopefully we'll make you like think of something else. Um, we did started this stream specifically because of that. Uno suggested that since you guys are having such bad weather, you have nothing else to do.
And he's not even here. It was his suggestion.
So we figure might as well give you some company while you're stuck at home.
Yeah. Everybody seems to be. I mean, Thunderbird's the same time zone as we are, but everybody seems to be farther east than us.
Yeah.
We don't really get winter here. Like Mrs. Spec says, we get what?
Summer in a sweater.
Summer in a sweater. Yeah, that's basically it. Which is good for my business because I don't have to drive through snow or anything else to get vehicles back to where I need to get to. Here's another car, the Chevy Nova, that was interesting how Mexico kind of changed it because the Mexican car and the US car, which was the Nova SS, was basically the same. It had the same grill, it had the same 350, it had the same stick shift in it. But of course, the Mexican engine didn't have any smog on it, and it wasn't a low compression engine. But Mexico called it a Malibu Rally. It said right on the front grill, Malibu Rally, Rallye. Why they added the E, I don't know. But that's how you spell it on this car. And it was the performance model. All of them were hatchbacks with the big engine and the 4-speed manual. And they were really cool cars. It's really hard to find a decent one, though. And some people want 300,000 pesos for them, but it's still a Nova. So it's still a Nova that not many people want because they want the early ones. But the majority of them were the inline six like this one, which is it's a fine running car. This car will last you the rest of your life. You won't have to do anything. Just drive it and drive it and drive it. Very hard to kill one of these. And if the engine does go out, rebuild it and drive it for another 25 years.
I went to Mesa 2 days ago or something like that, and I was ordering my cheese, and they had some words, some letters up on the thing, and they were selling some chicken wings and something else, and they were saying some sauces that were like barbecue and whatever, and there was one that was something spicy, and that's how they spelled it, spicy.
Oh, jeez. Es spicy.
It's spicy.
It's spicy.
It's spicy.
Yeah. She's showing me how they spelled spicy. They spelled it Espaicy. Es spicy. Because in Spanish they put the E in front of all the S words. When I moved here, I bought a little house near my friend, and there were 2 kids that lived down the block that I spent some time with, and I was learning Spanish. So I basically got up to their level. And the little girl, every time I tried to teach her a word in English, she would put the A in front of it. Like stop. No, not stop, just stop. Her brother's name was Saeed. And she was able to say Saeed. I said, well, why don't you say Es Said? Well, that's not his name. I said, well, that's not the word here either. You don't have to put the E in front of every word that has an S. So I put that in her head. So hopefully she got better with that. No, Jay Weiss is here.
Hey, Jay Wise.
Supernova.
Sorry. Will says, this is my first time seeing the Mexican J Malibu rally. I see that one has a column shift.
Was that that?
And Will the Drill.
Well, that one was not a Malibu rally. That was just a regular that was just a regular Nova with an inline six. It's really hard to find the Malibu rally. Because obviously it was the top of the line, most expensive. They didn't sell a whole lot of them.
Jay West says Supernova. The number says, man, all those spotless cars make you want to move there.
It is nice to have them here, but I live in a town that has rust, so there's no old cars here except for mine. So I'm like in withdrawal.
Jay West says, better than the Griswold wagon, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jay West says, España.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, España. That's how you spell Spanish.
Right.
España.
Yeah. Well, with the ñ.
Yeah. Will the Drill says, do you know how many Cherry Malibu rallies came with the 350?
All of them.
Jay White says, Spec.
Yep. Exactly. I had to knock it out of her. Every Malibu rally came with a 350 and a 4-speed. All of them. Then you had the Nova Concourse that had the Skylark front end and the inline six.
Jay White says, what are these like for parts? Any junkyards in Mexico for parts?
Nope. It's very hard to find parts in junkyards here. We had a yard that had hundreds of old cars, and I bought a lot of parts out of there. But I mean, this was like 20 years ago. And they crushed every last one of them. I mean, they had old Mopars in there. They crushed every last one of them to get the money out of the metal. It was an absolute horror.
Dean Stevenson is here.
Hey, Dean.
And they say Enya is Irish.
No. That's a name, but that's not what I was referring to.
What? Who's Enya?
I don't know.
Will says, isn't it a singer?
Yes, this is a very nice LeBaron. That's why I'm gonna put it on my list.
Will says it's a nice Chrysler product.
If you were driving this when it was new, you were the man. It was the luxury car, had air conditioning, had power windows. Nobody had a car like that. Nobody.
Dean says she's related to Mr. Houston. Isn't she a singer?
I don't know.
Isn't Enya a singer?
I don't know.
I think she is.
I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping tonight.
You gave me a headache.
Good.
No.
And you don't get to sleep either.
No. Didn't you say we were going to look at a car? Isn't that what you said?
No. I said if we go out, we have to go take pictures of the Ram Charger and the work they're doing on it.
Martin says LeBron. Lol. I know it's LeBaron.
LeBaron, yes.
Will Jill says, "Oh, nice. Now there's a BAM."
Yeah. Absolutely. This was the top of the line car. This was a commemorative car for the guy that was leading the company. And you'll see a picture of his initials on the window, and you'll notice the weird roof treatment that they put on this car to make it stand out from the other ones.
JY says, how much can you save by buying a car in Mexico and bringing it to the US? Few keys.
I don't know if you're gonna save anything, but you're gonna get a car that is unrested, original, not molested, and ready for any work that you want to do to it. Because you have to figure in the transport, you have to figure in the travel for me to get it, and I have to make something on it. So there are vehicles that you can cross and make money on. There are those for sure.
Josh says one of my grandpa's one of my grandpa's buddies had a black '78 LeBaron.
Yeah, that's about what that is. Basically the same car. And yeah, that's a fully loaded car in Mexico that nobody else had. There was nobody else selling a car like that at that time.
Steven Andrews says, "Are these fixed cars you have sold or looked at?"
There's there for these. I pick up I save pictures of cars that I think you would want to look at. Some of them are going to be on my list, and some of them are just too expensive for me to even think about. I mean, there's a guy here selling a Volkswagen van. It was at 3,700,000 pesos, but he lowered it to 3 million. He discounted a whole 700,000 pesos. But I wouldn't want that kind of money running through my bank account to go buy that van for anybody. So I would never list it.
JY says, "Bumpers look terrible." Sorry, sorry.
Why?
I don't know. I wasn't looking. Wilder Drill says, "From all I know, most BAM cars came with the inline six."
All VAM cars came with the inline six. There were no four cylinders and no V8s in Mexico. And the car that I'm going to publish, if I get a chance tomorrow, which is basically a Matador AMX, I'm going to publish 2 advertisements with it, original advertisements, and they're really proud of the fact that this car comes from the company that only uses the inline six. Only uses the inline. It's the only company in Mexico that only uses the inline six.
JY says, "Mustangs in Mexico. What do they go for? Say a '65 Mustang Funny."
Way too much. You could get one a lot cheaper in the US. Those early Mustangs, people hold on to them like they're gold. I've seen prices anywhere from 500,000 pesos up to 1,000,000 too.
Mm-hmm. Dean says, "It's best to not read them out. Think of my saying as hints. Never to read and be informed unless Mexican 351 forecasting boundary block differences and code numbers."
I had the 351 in that car over there.
Did you have dinner?
No.
Why?
Wasn't hungry for anything. I had 2 bags of Fritos.
That's not dinner.
No, but I was not. I feel so bloated. I mean, I've been using the bathroom too, but it's not. It feels hard. So maybe there's something going on in the whole organism here.
Did you get gluten?
I haven't eaten anything extra. I haven't been out of the house.
In the trip?
No. What would I have that had gluten? I didn't eat anything. We had the barbacoa, and where else? And we ate at Leñador.
Babes? What do you get at Babes?
Eggs, omelet with bacon.
Dean says, "There's enough steel in each bumper to make any 2 Japanese cars."
Yes, and I love that. Come on, hit my bumper, I dare you, with your new car. I dare you. Oh, and also in the advertisement on the Matador AMX, they're really proud of the fact that their bumpers have cushion that if you hit it, they'll just go in and come back out. They're real proud of that.
Well, the drill says, "I found an old video posted 17 years ago of a Mexican Ford Fairmont. It was all black and was doing burnouts."
That's what the Mexican Fairmonts do. Because, like Dean said, the engine that's under the hood of the 78 to 82 and some of the 83 Ford Fairmonts is basically a 1968 Ford 302. They never changed it. It's still the same engine, same compression ratio, everything. And you have the power of the 68 302 in a 1980s car.
JY says, "Is the lowrider scene still popular in the Mexican American community? I remember that scene was big in the 1980s and 1990s. Now cars are too nice to cut up and make lowrider."
Nobody will do that to a new car because they're so flimsy, and the computers would scream at you. So they're still buying square body Caprices and Cadillacs and all of those cars and Lincolns because they're still all around, and they do, they do them up like that. They're always going to do that. The cars got more expensive, so they can't pick them up for $100 anymore.
JY says bubble bumpers. Steven Andrews says, did you get a chance to look at the Mexico pictures my grandpa took in 1961?
Where did you send them?
Willow Trail says the user is Ignacio Alonso Ramos Garcia that owned that black Fairmont.
Oh, okay. Steve, where did you send the pictures? I'm gonna have to look for them. Sorry about that. I didn't see any. I didn't see any new messages coming in.
You're gonna have to forgive him. He's been sick and has not been paying attention.
It feels like my head is like going around in circles.
Actually, it's warm.
It's warm in here.
I'm cold. JY says, wow, wagon.
And this is a LeBaron wagon, even though they call it a Dart.
Email.
Okay, I'll go look for it on either one. I have 2 emails running right now. I like the wheels on it. The sporty wheels with the wood grain on the side. I think it looks good together.
The soccer mom wagon. Says JY.
That's fine. It would be football mom wagon. Here. Nobody uses that word here.
Will says that's a nice wagon.
I don't like the way the seats are not. They don't have the full cushion, the foam that it should have. Like they're deflated or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably an easy fix at an upholstery shop here. Oh, that was another car. This one's fine. This one has the inserts and then the edges around it. That's fine. And that wood steering wheel probably came new on the car. They did that a lot here in the 80s. The Monte Carlo SS had a wood steering wheel. What did the other thing I saw had a wood steering wheel? I can't remember what car it was, but they came from the factory with wood steering wheels. Here. Nobody cared about safety. That's your problem.
Why safety?
Because if your head hits a weird wood steering wheel, it's going to hurt you. Probably going to crash. It's going to break your ribs. Everything in the U.S. cars were made. The column was made to collapse, and the plastic on the steering wheel was made to cushion. All of that stuff.
Fernando says M66. Oh, that's the email.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Dean says an FCO 302 in a light Fairmont 2650 to 2950 pound max. That's a good performer.
Yep, they do pretty well in the box top Fairmonts.
Will says with Mexico not having emissions regulations at the time, those wagons are nice family hot rods with the 318 or 360 V8.
Yes, they were. If they could afford the gasoline, yes.
Mark says, I remember looking at a dash like that in my taxi days.
Yeah. They put the same dash in so many different vehicles to save money. So many.
Is taxi with a Y or with an I?
I.
Why does it look so familiar with a Y? Is it with a Y in Spanish?
Maybe it's taxidermy with a Y. Is it taxidermy with a Y?
I don't know.
Probably not. We knew what you meant, Mark. None of us are in control of our fingers anymore. I'm certainly not. I absolutely cannot type the word picture or pictures anymore because my fingers will switch around the T and the C. So I spell PITCURES every last time. So now I look for it and change it before I push send. This one has vents in the center, but no vent on the right side, which means it has no air, but it shouldn't have those vents in the center either if it had no air.
Maybe you can't see it. The picture cuts off.
No, I can see it right there. I can see the edge of the dashboard. It would be right there next to the emblem.
Mark says, I tap too fast. Show off. Oh, yeah, you can't. There's no picture. Will says, that's a nice Mexican Chevelle.
Yeah, but I would prefer a factory stick shift on the floor instead of one that was converted because you never know what kind of quality the conversion is, and then it gets stuck between gears, and you have to get under the car, get it back in gear, and you know, you know how that is. If you ever driven a three on the tree, you know it happens all the time, which I did. And if I get the car out of the backyard, I still can.
Barracuda says my partner of 37 years left me for making noise like that, clearing my throat. They left you,
That's rude. Or left you
or
in,
left the room.
or left you in, yeah, went into another room. They can't leave you when you're sick. Those them rules. Them's the rules. Tonight's gonna be a hard night because I have to sit up in bed, and hopefully my chest will calm down enough. I don't know if there's really nothing I can. There's no medicine here I can take.
There is.
That only numbs the throat.
No, this one.
What? What are you pointing at? I don't know what that is.
Pregunta Doctor Christian. Will says that has happened a lot. 3 of the trees were converted as floor shifters.
Yeah, I'd rather have the three on the tree. But if it's a factory stick shift on the floor, 3 or 4 speed, I like that because it's a well designed gear shift lever and all the rods and everything underneath.
Steven says, did any Dodge carry-all / suburban type vehicles get made on pickup chassis in Mexico in the 60s before the Ram Charger?
There was one that was bought out of Mexico, and it's in the U.S. It was a 1963 model, I think, but it was the only one I've ever seen. It was a very odd looking vehicle. As a matter of fact, Steve Magnante did has a few videos. he went to a guy's house or whatever that has all these weird vehicles, and one of them was an early 60s Dodge Carryall from Mexico, but it's not the same one as the other guy that brought it up. But the earliest one I've seen is like 74, but it was a panel truck. There's a 1978 right now for sale up the road from us in Hermosillo, but it needs a little bit of work. But it's a passenger vehicle, which they didn't make very many of in the Dodge because everybody was buying Fords because they had V8s in them.
Will says, damn, I feel bad for not having any medication available for your respiratory condition.
Thank you, Will. I don't know if you'd be able to get it through the internet though.
Dean says, Mexican E58 4-barrel, the 360 engines weren't given a rated gross horsepower and gross horsepower, nominally 255 horsepower. US 4-barrel, 360 cubic inch, 5.9 liter V8 engine, EH1 code, produced 225 net horsepower at 3,800 RPM.
You're making my case for me, Dean. The Mexican engines are better.
I mean, I read that, but I don't know
none of it stayed in your head.
But
though.
I don't know what it said. I don't know what it meant.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mark says, lol, I had a 71 Dodge 3/4 pickup with a long bed step side and a 318 with a 4-speed, but first gear was full low.
Yeah, the granny gear.
Driving down a bumpy dirt road, the clutch linkage would disconnect itself.
Oh, that's fun. That sounds like fun.
Mark says, thought about honing my skills shifting without a clutch.
In a transmission like that, yeah. Most of the carryalls had from like 80, 83, 84 back were all truck transmissions with the granny gear. But I have seen a few of like 1985 that had the automotive transmission of a 5-speed in there because it's a different gear shift lever and a different shift pattern. So it did not have the granny gear, so you had the regular car transmission in there, so you got more gears out of it.
Barracuda says, she's out of my life, she's out of my life. Well, she left you for something so dumb, then you're better off.
Yeah.
Dean says even the Mexican Spec 4 Topaz had a 107 to 110 horsepower, 2.3 liter engine with just a two barrel Weber Holley 5,200 in mid 1986.
Now he's showing off.
Trail says, I love those mid-sized Ford Fairmont wagons. The first 7 years of my life was riding in one of those with the 200 inline six.
Will, imagine one of these, red, with the Squire package, the wood on the side, with the 302 in it, and a factory 3-speed manual on the floor. I've seen a few of those. That would be the perfect car. The absolute perfect car. Nobody's gonna think that a Fairmont Squire wagon is gonna kick their butt in a race.
Steven says, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Dean says, that's way more than 85 horsepower US central fuel injection tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says, that truck also had an oil bath air filter.
That kept your air clean. That's the best kind of air filter.
Hercules is for Michael. Bullet Drill says, now that's a family hot rod.
But you know what? Nobody here would think of it like that because everybody else that had a Fairmont had the same engine in it. Nobody was out racing them around and racing their neighbors' cars or anything. It's just the car that they drove to wherever they drove to. You could get a Chrysler wagon in that time that had the 360 in it, but yeah, the 360 in it to kind of compare. But they didn't come with a stick shift; they were all automatic, so that took the fun out of it. After we drove Lester LeSaber's Fairmont Elite back from the state of Durango, it made me want one. That car was such a nice highway car. Man, that was so nice out there. And it was an automatic. All the power you could want to pass anybody, you need to pass and still get pretty decent gas mileage out of it, out of the 302. It was a really, really nice driving car. You don't need a Crown Victoria. The Fairmont was more than enough.
Sorry. Steven says, Sleeper Dude would like that wagon.
Yeah, he would love all of the Mexican Fairmonts that he doesn't know exist yet. I mean, you can't really communicate with him because he gets so many messages. But he's never going to actually go buy a car that's costing more than a couple $100 because he wants to build it. But if I had a way to contact him privately, I could show him some different cars, and then he could build a replica in one of his wagons of a Mexican car with the V8 and the stick shift and everything, and have a really nice car.
Will says, and you mentioned that, I wonder how many of those 360 powered wagons were manual swapped.
None here, I bet, because nobody even paid attention to that.
Very good. It says, you're a lucky man, Mike Spec, having a lady like that.
Thank you. I know I am.
Will the Drill says, is that a GDM car right now?
Will, the letters JDM means Japanese domestic market, which means a car that was sold new in Japan, which means it would be right-hand drive. That is a Datsun that would be MXDM, which is Mexican domestic market, and which also means it has the small overhead valve engine in it, which some people say is better than the overhead cam engine in it. Buff really likes the overhead valve engine compared to the overhead cam, but I think the overhead cam gives you a bit more highway speed and highway power for passing and everything. But getting a little warm, little dog. So, but all of the Datsuns here came with that same overhead valve engine. At least in the 70s, they did. The Datsun 510, the Datsun 710, the Datsun trucks. The that was called a Sakura. All of them, all the same engine.
Dean says, Hot Rod Guy Garage did a 4-barrel to 2-barrel comparison on his 1970 Torino F code. 2-barrel 350 Holly gave him 24.9 miles per gallon versus 22.6 miles per gallon with a Summit uh, with a Summit 570 CFM
Mm-hmm.
4 barrel.
See, I've always been told that that's backwards because the 4 barrel would have smaller primaries, and if you didn't get into the secondaries, you get better mileage with the 4 barrel. That's what I was always told my whole life.
Yeah.
Well, my whole teen life and adult life.
Dean says Mexican Spec carburetor is an altitude compensation motorcraft, 2150, about 368 CFM.
So he was dumping extra fuel down there that he didn't need.
Will Luttrell says, I saw the engine picture and it looks like you can V8 swap it.
Of course. There's plenty of room in them, but there's no culture here to do that. Now, if engine swaps were allowed, which I'm not allowed to sell anything with an engine swap, the US EPA forbids it, so we can't get it across the border. But there has been a 1985 or 86 Datsun 200 SX, which is the one with the flip-up headlights, that has a Fox Body Mustang 302 and 4-speed manual transmission in it, and it looks like it's a factory job. There's no modification to the hood, no modification to the interior. It looks like it's a completely stock 200ZX until you open the hood, and it's a fuel injected 5.0 from a later Mustang, and the 5-speed. I mean, it looks like it was a really good job, but there's no way that car can get across the border legally. I mean, it can drive across and then do a VIN search over there and find out, do a lien sale because it is a U.S. car, and do a lien sale and just get a new title on it. That would be the way.
Dean says it can but he wasn't using wide open throttle at any time during the test from 3 Alabama to Northern Carolina and back test.
So I wonder why the 2-barrel got better mileage than the 4-barrel then.
Mm-hmm. Did the guys on the video you were watching manage to get the car running?
What?
You want me to mute it?
Oh, okay. We're gonna mute it for a second.
1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry. Steven says, I thought after 25 years you could import anything.
Yes, but if it has an engine swap on it, it makes it not valid. You can't do it.
Yeah, because you can't confirm that it's not a stolen car then. So
stolen engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
even though they haven't checked anything on the cars we send over, because like the 69 Dart we sold, it wasn't the original engine in it, but it was the same 318 that came in the car. So even if it had other numbers on it, it was still, they didn't say anything about it. But if you have a V8 engine in a car that is supposed to have a 4-cylinder in it, that raises some eyebrows.
Yeah. Will says that Datsun looks similar to the Mitsubishi that Chrysler sold its platform as the Dodge Challenger from 1977 through 1981.
And the Plymouth Sapporo. Yeah, it kind of has that shape, but the Datsun 200SX is lower and wider. There is one of those Challengers here for sale, but it's in a town that I do not want to go into here in my state. So it's a no-go. It's really cheap and it has a little bit of damage on the dashboard, but the outside of the car looks pretty good.
Will says that's where did that? Berkeley says, what if the swap was the same type of engine? It doesn't work because the bin has to match.
Well, no, they have not been checking the engines so far on anything.
Yeah, but if they were to check
obviously these are 50-year-old cars, engines have been taken out and others put in. But if it's obvious, like a 4-cylinder to 8-cylinder, they're going to start looking all over the car. Because I've already tried to clear this with my with my customs agent, and he says no. He called EPA, and they said no, you cannot do it. They will not allow the car to come into the country.
Joe Shimon says the power mirror motors on these cars were the same ones used on Tyco slot cars.
Really? Oh.
Dean says for factory miles per gallon flat line from 1982 to 1985 on the 4 barrel versus 2 barrel
High output.
high output GTs. Extras 53 horsepower, 157 horsepower in 82 and 210 horsepower in 85. No change from 25 miles per gallon highway. You can go anyway, depends on how you drive.
Yeah, obviously.
Will says, is that a Mexican Ford Thunderbird or the U.S. Mercury Cougar?
It is a Mexican Ford Cougar. Mercury wasn't selling cars here, so it's a Cougar with a Ford, the Ford emblem on it. They also sold Ford T-Birds here at that time, which you were able to get the 3.8 liter with a 5-speed manual transmission in it, which is a pretty neat car. The same with the 89, the redesign in 89. They sold them here with a factory stick shift in them. So that was an interesting car. But they only have the 3.8 V6 in them because when that car was made, the V8s were banned in passenger cars.
Barracuda says there's always bureaucrats to make up rules and make things difficult.
Yep. Yep. You would figure the 25-year rule, who cares? I mean, they don't care about safety or any of that. So what does it matter if the engine has been switched out? But nope. I tried my best. So we're just gonna follow the rules there. But like I said, on that little Datsun, you just drive it across the border, do a lien sale, or actually it's a 17-digit VIN, so you run a Carfax, you see where the title is out of, and do a duplicate title in that state, and the car is yours. Easy.
Well, it says I love the way that one has a 302 in it.
Mm-hmm. This little celebrity, I published it because it's an 86 Celebrity Eurosport with 60,000 original kilometers on it. Factory 4-speed, 2.8 liter, power windows, all the options. Plus, it has the super rare factory tachometer in it, which is between the dashboard and the steering column. And I don't know if you saw the pictures yet, but it was there. It got a lot of attention, but the car sold really quickly before I even had a chance to get a customer on it. See right above the steering wheel there, between the speedometer and the steering wheel, that's a tachometer that the guy said works. Everything works on this car. Very, very, very nice car.
Will says, I love the way that one. Oh, wait, I already read that message.
Mm-hmm.
I have a headache.
You have pills over there.
No, I just stole my pills.
I did not.
You did too?
When you find one of these original cars like this, you have to grab it because you're not going to find a 60,000 kilometer car. That blue one was just inside Michoacan from Jalisco.
You didn't tell me.
So you would come underneath Lake Chapala, and it was right there, and then you run right back to Jalisco. Quickly.
You didn't tell me if the guys managed to start the car.
Who?
The guys that were inside they were trying to start a car. They were spraying whatever into the carburetor, and there was a lot of smoke coming out.
Oh yeah, they got it running really, really smoothly.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What car was it?
A '67 Pontiac Executive. And of course, my comment on there was, I had a '67 Pontiac. Mine was a superior built high top ambulance.
Margaret says, "No, I've got that damn song in my head. What song?"
You hear a song? I don't hear any music. I think it's what time? What's the temperature here? Like
right now?
Low 60s.
Mm, 61,
61.
and it's gonna go down to 54.
Yeah, that's cold for us. Sorry, guys. You need to read the question before I answer it.
Will says, was the European Ford Scorpio sold in Mexico?
No, thank goodness. No, 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 no. No. They were sold in the US, and I stayed away from those like the plague. I had bought some. Every last one of those that I bought overheated. Every last one of them. So I just learned to stay away. People didn't really like the oddballs, like the XR4 Ti. People like them now, but when they were just a used car, nobody wanted to go near them. Nobody. All three of the celebrities that are going to be shown here are the 2.8-liter four speeds. Then in 89 was the last year for the celebrity. Then in 1990, it went to the Oldsmobile Sierra body style Eurosport with a 3.1 with a 5-speed, which I really like these cars.
Dean says, weather was pretty crud today. Every time I put the other loads of washing on, it rained. It was raining in the north, raining in the south. So it is if it's raining in Dunedin, might as well stay home. Yeah, it was supposed to stop raining yesterday, but it rained last night as well for some reason. It was like a random cloud passed by. I was lucky that I didn't leave my clothes outside. I just put them out this morning, and I still have clothes in the washing machine. I'm supposed to put them out.
Well, that's a problem because he's coming in the morning to get it.
Yeah. Dean says because it's not bloody good anywhere else. Will says the Scorpio has enough engine compartment space for a 302 V8.
Yes, that's possible, but how would you get it licensed to drive it on the street? That would be an illegal engine exchange for the EPA over there too. And most of those you would have to smog in some kind of city.
Granddad's junk is here.
Hello, Granddad's Junk. Thank you for joining us. Why are you scratching so much? Are you telling me you need a bath? What is wrong? Let me see this. What did you do here? Let me see. Let me see. What did you do? Are you chewing on that? No, don't.
What?
The sore on his foot, on his arm there.
Oh.
Don't be doing that.
Dean says Billy T. James Mexican Spec joke Barracuda. Barracuda could pick it. Kim fix this thing this year?
Hello, Kim.
They say I had to put Buster Campo to bed early tonight. Sorry to have missed so much.
That's okay. He needs his rest. We're all older and we all should be in bed. Although I don't think that's going to help me tonight.
Dean says, and I'll break Granda's chunk too. Granda's chunk says, the brothers are here, Dean, Barracuda, the guys. Will the Trail says, I'm sure you've seen the Ford Sierra XR8 with the 302 V8. I found that really cool.
Yes, I have seen that. The body style was not popular on that car, and the huge taillights, the full length taillights of the red and the amber and all that stuff. People really didn't like it. No, Barry, it's the little dog that's doing that. He's got a sore on his arm, and he keeps scratching, but I can't give him a bath because it's cold outside for us, and he's an old dog, so that might kill him.
I do need a bath, and my bath is occupied, and I only have a shower, so I want a bath.
We only do showers here.
I want a bath.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get more water.
Okay, bring me something.
What is that medicine that you have there?
Are you taking the microphone?
Yeah. What is that medicine you have there? What does it do?
It's for to take the flame out and to help with the cough.
So is it gonna make me cough more?
No, it's antitussivo.
What?
Stops the cough.
Well, how many am I supposed to take?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Chris?
Way too late. He has to be at school tomorrow. When you're taking pills, it's always best to take two, right? Don't know how to get them out of this thing though without puncturing them.
Oh, that's what your nails are for.
I have nails, but then my nail could go straight through the gel. And can I take these?
I actually don't know. I just opened them.
Yeah. So one problem for the other. Finish this water.
The chat was crazy. Hold on.
I have to go get more water.
Guys. Yeah, he's still sick,
You can
Granddad.
go outside if you want.
But we're going to the
Go outside?
doctor. I'm
You gonna
gonna
go
call
outside?
the doctor on
Go
Monday
outside.
and get an appointment either Monday, Tuesday.
Guess you don't want to go outside.
They do have appointments soon. And luckily, this doctor does usually have openings.
Where did we leave off?
Granddad's asking if you're still crook. Don't give it to us or AI flu. Dean says the Three Stooges. You can trust two of the above. Barracuda and Granddad's junks are okay. Kim says to Granddad's junk. Not really, but he isn't sleeping in his chair in front of his computer, so I know he was tired.
Mm-hmm.
Granddad says that GMC is very nice.
Believe it or not, that's actually a Chevy Suburban that they use GMC parts on here. Just parts here and there.
Kim says Dean Stevenson, let's hope. Dean Stevenson says don't have double dose. Then you don't even know what it is. Josh Sherman says yes it is. Kim says Barracuda, of course. Dean says HRS, the alpha male, Mrs. Mexican Spec. What?
He's the alpha male.
He's the alpha male. Okay.
Yeah, the dog follows me.
He follows you because he's in love with you. Granddad says it's probably getting late over there. We have just finished dinner. It's
11:30.
11:30 right now. Barracuda says I'd like to see that. And Mark says my 77 Delta 88 had a similar interior. That red plush interior.
Yeah.
May I have one?
Thank you. Yeah, this dog has been here for quite some time, and when I open a door, he knows that he does not go through the door first. I go through the door, then he follows, because I am the alpha. He always does that.
Also, he's in love with Mr. Spec.
Well, I saved his life. I give him food. That's all it takes. See, you're licking the sore. Stop licking the sore. Yeah, you switch to the other hand. Mm-hmm. It looks like a cut though. Mm-hmm. Hey, stop that.
So. Oh, I know.
Mark, a friend of mine sold me his 77 Delta 88. It was a silver car. Pretty nice inside, but the paint was pretty much trashed. So I took it to a production paint shop and had them spray a light blue base on it and then the silver on top of that. Man, that car came out really nice. Mm-hmm. It's silver, but it had a blue tint to it. It looked really good when we sold it.
Will says, is your glass of water helping you at least?
Well, it's a bottle of water, but yeah, it's keeping my throat. I mean, it's cold water. I know I shouldn't drink anything cold, but
lubricated.
Okay, lubricated. She likes that word.
Mark says, when I take my dog Clyde for a walk, he walks behind me with zero attention on the leash. Always have to look if he's still there.
Yep, you're the alpha. How about all the other dogs? What do they do?
Dean says, a nice medicinal application of Cactus Jack could help. Mexican Spec. Cactus Jack. What's Cactus
Something we don't have here?
Jack? Josh says, another Chevy slash GMC hybrid.
Yes, this was the first year Suburban that they sold in Mexico officially as a passenger vehicle, and every last one of them was a stick shift. Every Suburban in 1987 was a stick shift, including this one. So they used the GMC parts. It said Sierra Grande on the side and everything, but it was sold at the Chevy dealer. And then when they changed the body style in 1992, yeah, 92, the new one came out. They used a GMC grill, and where the GMC letters would go, they put this big bow tie on top of the letters that told you it was a Chevy. But if you took that off, the area for the GMC letters are still there, so you could just put the GMC letters back on. But yeah, that's how they did things here.
Mark says, my Delta 88 was silver as well. I bought it with a banged up right quarter panel. Was it the same Delta?
No,
Are you sure?
I don't think it. Mine could have made it from California all the way to where he is.
You never know. Dean says, Lou Boss E.T. I know this. Will says, that's a cool looking SUV by GM.
Is Suburbans are the only vehicle, two of them, that I damaged when I worked at the Chevy dealer for 2 years. They don't like me, and I tolerate them. So, I'm not going to rush out and buy one anytime soon. But if I bought one, I would want the 87 with the stick shift, the 350 under the hood and the stick shift.
Mark says, Bonnie is my wife's dog. She pulls, lol. I don't know about Storm. We never had her on a leash.
Oh, you don't take all 10 dogs out at one time?
Dean says, we had a bar called Cactus Jack in Dunedin. Great place to get imbibed.
Imbibed.
Imbibed. I did heard recently that if you get gluten and you're feeling like really poorly, you can take 1 or 2 shots of tequila, and that would actually diminish a lot of the symptoms.
For how long?
Well, according to this girl, for a day, at least.
Oh, great. So I'm going to become an alcoholic?
2 shots of tequila a day doesn't make you an alcoholic.
Every day. I would have to take it every day.
No.
Yes.
But anyway. Mark says mine was a 2-door. How well was it yours a 2-door?
I can't remember. I think it was a 2-door because I bought it from a friend
It
of mine.
was the same car.
I bought it from a friend of mine that he just picked up cars along the way.
You guys had the same car.
I had a 67 Grand Prix that I let him use. And
Mark, did it have a bunch of coins in the
no.
in the door?
I had a 67 Grand Prix at the time, and I let him use it. And then he gave it back to me, and at the same time bought himself, I think it was a 73 Pontiac Grand Am, or the Le Mans or whatever, the Colonnade coupe. And then told me that he got a DUI in the Pontiac. And of course, I naturally thought it was his own. No, he got a DUI in my car. And then he bought himself a Pontiac to cover that. I did have my car back. They didn't impound it or anything.
Mark says managed to run 15.64 on the quarter mile with that Delta 88.
See what happens when a racer gets any kind of car? He takes it on a track.
What did you race?
I don't race my cars.
Well, what did you race?
I don't race anything.
You raced a Mustang?
Yes.
What did you race?
I don't know.
Why you're such a bad racer?
I don't know. It's like a 15-second car or something.
Barcola says, isn't it 3/3.68687?
Who's he talking to?
I don't know. Dean says my schoolmate Douglas Thompson, dad, had an Oldsmobile Delta 88 back in 1978. Great car.
They're the most comfortable thing you can have.
Mark says no, we don't walk the Datsuns. Bonnie, Clyde, and Storm are not so mini Australian Shepherds.
Oh, okay.
Believe in yourself is here.
Hello, believe in yourself. Welcome.
And they say hello, Mr. and Mrs. Spec, and chat. Dean says not when it's 40 down up overboard. 225 said slant 6 then becomes a 230 or whammo.
3,769 centimeters.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He's just putting a lot of numbers to see if you're going to say them. I bought one of these at an impound yard sale one time, and it was a stick shift. It was a 5-speed on the floor, I think, just a regular 2.2, and I think it was kind of a brownish color. And we were painting cars at our shop at the time. My friend was, so he gave it to the painters. They gave it back to me a dark red, and the car drove great. I drove it back and forth from California to back to Las Vegas many times. It was just a great highway car. These cars are very underrated, especially with the stick shift. I would not want one with an automatic.
Okay, I want to make a deal.
What?
If Dean's gonna start talking technical like that, you're gonna read the messages.
Or we jump over them.
But you don't know if it's important.
I don't know who he's talking to. He's not talking to us because I wasn't talking about a slant 6. I think he's talking to Barry.
Mark says Mexican Spec, lol, my 77 Parisian went 13.02 on the quarter mile.
Not out of the factory, Mark. You must have done something under that hood.
Dean says it shall be trashed, it is written. Believe in yourself says, where do football players stand when they get hot by the fans?
Then they get clobbered.
Clobbered?
Yeah.
What's clobbered?
Beaten over the head.
But it says only if the fans are hot, or else they'll lose the hometown advantage.
Of course, if they're hot and they're standing by the fans, all the girls are going to jump on them. So that could be bad too. Or good.
He's snoring.
People need to buy more Volkswagen Beetles from me.
I thought you said you didn't want to drive him.
I don't want to drive them. I'll transport them.
I said to Mexican Spec, no, not out of the factory. I had a mildly built 400 SVC power glide with a 4000 stall converter and 488 rear gears.
See, so your car was massaged. I have only raced completely stock cars. When I asked a friend that had he builds race cars, quarter-mile cars or eighth-mile cars. I think it's eighth mile we had here. We were talking about my 81 Impala, and he's like, big car, bigger engine. That's all.
Dean says, or don't read it at all. Yeah, but Dean, you are like, I was gonna say one of our press customers. Like, you always show up for our lives. You're always hyped. Like, I feel bad not reading your messages because you're here. I wanna say what you say. And Dean says, I was just trolling Barracuda because that's what I do to nice Southern hospitality guys. Okay.
It's his job.
Yeah, well, since he was talking to you, I thought he was technically talking to you. When I know they're talking to each other, sometimes I do not read it. But I hear
See,
it.
I'm not sure I would ever sell a Suburban from here to over there unless it's the stick shift, 350 and all that, because they sold four-wheel drive Suburbans over there. They sold three-quarter ton Suburbans over there. There's a whole lot more options for the Suburbans over there. Although there's probably a lot more clean original trucks here because nobody has restored this truck that you're looking at. Nobody. That is how it has been since it's been new. Nobody's going to go through the trouble of painting one of these. Put it on.
Hold on. Hold on.
And we're back.
Stop yelling.
I'm not really yelling.
You're yelling.
Can you hear Mrs. Spec well? Because her microphone is pretty far away.
Yeah, you hear me okay? See, the sound is moving.
Yeah, but not as much as mine.
You are always yelling.
I am not yelling. Do you want to hear me yell?
No, I do not want to hear you yell. Porque this has been, you're my only source of information.
That's pretty bad, Barry. Getting harder and harder to find different vehicles to show you guys every week.
Dang, I feel sorry for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says, well, I'm browsing this Chinese supermarket items. They have meat basi, salted egg yolk, and meat floss flavored chewy biscuits. I have questions.
Yeah, how could all of those ingredients be in one biscuit?
Meat floss.
Meat floss flavored, not even meat floss in it, but it's just flavored. And it's chewy.
Brenda says, Mrs. Next, get some duct tape, then he can yell. No, he'll yell through the duct tape. Trust
I
me.
will try my best.
And then he will hurt your lungs.
I'm not at 100% right now, and you can hear that in my voice.
Dean says, I certainly check your info with Granddad's junk before even opening an earlobe to me. Mark says Mexican Spec, and what the fuck is meat plus? No.
Does anybody want to Google that? It's I bet you it is something in Chinese that was translated wrong.
Maybe it's like a um como la asesina, no la asesina. Como la machaca.
Dried meat?
Sí, pero no específicamente esa, porque la machaca son tiritas de carne.
Yeah. But meat floss.
Sí, pues son tiritas de carne.
I don't know. Does somebody want to Google that and tell us what it is? See, now I feel like I'm Ken playing Geo, whatever it was, Geo Guesser.
Why?
We can't Google, but you guys can.
Burger is way better than it being Japsinda. Mark says possibly.
You want to tell us what that is?
Brenda says Barracuda, you can Google the formulas to work out cube and comp ratio. Dean says, yeah, but as the Talmud says, don't use the information of a fool as a precedent.
That's a good thing.
That was here.
Hey, Tavo, we are now complete. All of our Down Under friends are here.
That was all, amigos. Mark says, meat floss, raw song, the savory dried meat product with a light, fluffy, cotton-like texture. Yeah, it's machaca.
Machaca is not cotton like. It's a lot harder. Yeah,
Machaca.
it's pretty much the same.
Machaca.
As a topping or filling. Yeah, machaca.
Machaca.
Hmm. I don't like the word the meat floss. Brings so many weird things to mind.
Yeah. Believe says I went to bed a while ago, but here I am in bed. Where I in the computer I quotient quotient look Google. Wait.
Okay, you're still in bed. You can't sleep.
Barracuda says are coming. Mark says, but I still have questions. So
Well, what are the questions, Mark?
Grant says, "Our brother, welcome the office are late as usual. Bit like the underarm." Barracuda says, "Right, we better settle down." Kim says, "Fine, friends in low places."
Yes, very low. But Kim, remember that Luis is also in the southern hemisphere. So we talk about these guys being in summertime. He's also experiencing summertime right now. So he doesn't have the same kind of weather that we do either. Nobody ever says anything about him. But yeah, he's in the southern hemisphere as well.
Mark says, "Mexican Spec, I hear ya." Dean says, "A combi nest?" Believe says, "Misspelling are a result of swipe not liking my fingers."
I get the same thing. Actually, my fingers are rebelling against me. I know what letters I'm supposed to type on the computer, and they say, no, we're going to switch these two around. I've never been dyslexic before, but all of a sudden I can't write words like picture and a few others, and delivery. I can't write that word either. It always switches to let the V and the I around. So my fingers do whatever the hell they want, and then I have to go back and check it again, which I hate doing the same thing twice, no matter what it is. Wow.
Mark says, "Made by stewing pork, chicken, or beef in soy sauce and spices until it shreds easily. The meat is then dried and fried until it breaks into fine, sweet, savory shreds." Yeah, it's kind of like, what is it called?
Machaca.
It's kind of like machaca. Yeah.
Yeah. Just Machaca has a better name.
Yep.
It doesn't bring things to mind.
Mm, that was says only 115 degrees here so far. Forecast is for 117
Wow.
Fahrenheit because
Yeah.
Celsius you'll be dying.
Yes, it's Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but
But
Tabo usually
wow.
says Celsius, so I'm confused. Barcola says Tabo wouldn't have approved of that underarm bowl. What? Brenda says Tabo, are you feeling better? Kim says it's a small but mighty group.
Yeah. How's your weather tonight, Kim? Are you keeping warm?
That was correct, Barracuda. Very sportsmanship. Sportsmanship. The Dean says, I spent all my childhood reading the Combi List Manifesto. It's awkward when you have a social studies teacher who was a
Maoist.
Maoist and a Polish friend who was pro solidarity. Great coffee table chat.
Yeah, I bet you didn't get very far with that one.
That was a stupendous job. Going to be a long road, if ever.
Sorry to hear that, Toggle.
Dean says, his name isn't Trevor Barracuda. My dad was. And that says, Tavo, did you have a stroke or something? You don't have to ask that if you don't want to, Tavo. It's okay.
That's kind of what I'm worried about right now because of all the coughing from years ago. I have two hernias from coughing that I never had fixed, and I'm having pains in my stomach from the muscles in my stomach from all of the coughing. And every time I cough, it tenses all the muscles, and coughing can do a lot of damage to a body.
Yeah.
So I need to get this taken care of.
Dean says, hey, win is a win. That was something like that. Kim says, we are warm, but outside it is about 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Josh says, if it's that warm down there, be a good neighbor and send some of that warm up this way.
I don't think it'll get there in time, Josh.
Yeah. Barry says, those are the sorts of people who have been in the schools for way too long. Mark says, I have a cracked or broken rib due to coughing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that can happen as well. You can
yeah,
actually dislocate a rib. You can actually dislocate ribs.
yeah. Then the pain starts.
Yeah. Dean says, at least you never ball tempered towel. What? Brenda says, just take it easy, towel, brother. Billy says, it's 1 Fahrenheit here and snowing. Brenda says, Kim, you still have snow? I think that was the question.
Jeez, you guys with all this snow, you can't get anything done. You can't be productive. You just have to sit in the house and I don't know. If you guys had our weather here year round, how much could you get done?
Sorry. Mark says, never got treated for it.
I never got treated for my hernias either because it was going to be like 35,000 pesos. And then I had a recovery period and I had to be in front of the computer making money. I couldn't just be laying in bed. So I never got it taken care of. But because of that, like we were taking all of our merchandise out to like car shows and stuff around here to sell little Hot Wheels and other cars and taillights and everything. And I took Mrs. Spec with me and I took my 15-year-old niece with me and they did all the heavy lifting. They brought all the boxes out, they packed everything up later, put everything back in the truck. I have no problem with women working. I am a equal opportunity employer. They can do all the work just as well as men can. And it actually worked out really well. But I still have the same hernias that I had then. It's not like one of the hernias that sticks out from the body. It's just in the groin inside. So by now it probably closed itself. I get some pain once in a while, but it's nothing that's sticking out or anything.
Dean says, yes, actually I did. Both were very beneficial to my success. That was a snow here this week, 5 days in a row over 40 Celsius. 40 Celsius. Wow, that's hot. That's hot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kim says, Randa's junk, yes, snow and ice. I have a short video to go out in a few hours. Will says, thank you for your company.
It's our pleasure, Will.
Thank you for being here. Mark says, Mexican Spec, with me that depends. If it's too hot, I can't handle it, but might get used to it.
You
It
know,
does get too hot.
the Durango stopped working and all we had was a 63 Plymouth to drive to the store, to drive everywhere in the middle of summertime. So we rolled down the windows and we went. So you sweat, so what? You come back, it's no big deal. It's not a big deal to not have air conditioning.
I've been living here all my life, but I still have issues with it because I get allergy when it's very hot. Um, but yes, it does get extremely hot. Like at some points in the afternoon, you can't go outside. Like it's just you just can't. So yeah. Um, Dean says, "Can you sing 'Living with a Hernia' by?" Oh wait, I don't want to trigger you.
No.
Brenda says, "Mexi brother, I would love it. You can leave stuff outside, no rust."
Yep. Well, there is rust here where I am, but most places don't have it.
Mark says, "Lo, my thermometer in the house here displays the word snow when the temp gets too cold outside." That was says 40 to 47 Celsius daytime is one thing. 28 to 30 overnight minimum is a whole different game. Yeah. Dean says, I saw the earlier one with the fake misinformation about the such and such delivery. Perkins says, what's today Australia Day, Tabo? Tabo says, it is Perkins. Oh, Australia Day. Dean says, like Irishman, two six. Brenda says, mind you, the crime may be a concern here. I rarely lock anything, leave keys in cars.
Yeah, but I don't leave keys in cars, but we don't have any problems here.
Not here in particular, no.
No, not in our little area here, but you just have to be smart about it. But the most important thing to have is a dog in the house. Mexicans are frightened of dogs. They hear the barking, they will stay away. I don't know what happened with them, but because there's a lot of street dogs here, and I'm sure a lot of people that walk on the street, dogs have come at them. But they hear the barking and they go on to somebody else's house. So it's always important to have at least one dog in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. You're not that
Burgers,
important, dog.
burgers or protest day. Dean says that's because West Coasters in the South Island of New Zealand are uh, rat bastards.
Now, in July 4th of this year is the 250th anniversary of the United States. 50 years ago, when I was in fourth grade, they made us, the 200th anniversary, they made us do all these marches and everything, to commemorate the day. And a lot of the car companies put out red, white, and blue models to commemorate the 200th anniversary. Does anybody here think that any car company is going to put out a car to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States? Would any of them dare do that? I mean, we had Chevy trucks that were white with the blue and red pinstripe. We had a lot of the General Motors cars had the same color scheme. A Ford had some as well. I don't remember what Chrysler did.
That was very cool that the peasants are revolting. Protest, invasion day, etc. are dying out, despite the push by the ABC, etc. Believe guesses nope. Josh Homan says I don't think so.
See that what has changed so much in the United States that the car companies would not commemorate something as important as the 250th birthday of the country. They're it's ridiculous to not commercialize on that. People would buy those vehicles.
Margaret says they sure are revolting.
I understand Stellantis isn't an American company anymore, but the other two are basically.
Mark says, lol, how about an orange card to commemorate the current president?
If you've seen him on news channels and stuff, he's not orange anymore. He hasn't done that in a while.
That was says, there's a chocolate Volkswagen van.
Yeah.
What does that say on the side?
I don't know. It's whatever company they were using it for.
Yeah, but I don't know what it says. Brenda says, wow, Maxi, I have never seen a Volkswagen van. I didn't realize they made one. That's cool.
It's an add-on that they put over the back of the Beetle, which gives um, extra storage back there.
Yeah, it's not
But
original.
it kind of gets in the way of servicing the engine and stuff. But because it covers the whole back of the engine, the whole back of the car, and covers the taillights, it has to have extra taillights there. So it gives it an interesting look. But if you're delivering, let's say, donuts or whatever from your little shop to local stores, that's the perfect vehicle because you can come in from the back or from either side. The perfect vehicle without spending a whole bunch of gasoline.
Police says, Mark, if it was a burnt orange metallic, would be too bad. And Max says, blow through.
Yeah, so people need to think about these Mexican vehicles. Like I tried to sell a it was an 83, I think, Ford Carryall, which looks like a Ford Bronco, but it's a panel truck. The rear roof does not come off, but it's a two-door, short wheelbase. It looks like a Bronco. I showed it to Kiwi because if he would paint his shop's name on the side of that, people would be breaking down at his door for him to work on their cars because that thing would get everybody's eyes at a car show, just driving it to the store. People would be swarming around it. What the hell is this thing? Where did you get it? and then they would see his name on the side and promote his business. It would be great for him.
That was a Chevy pickup equals Holden Rodeo.
Well, there's a Chevy Love here. So
Dean says he got the best tires in Chamber, Onikian, and Chacotan. I saw a brown slash anthracite metallic De Tomaso Longchamp stacked out like that. He rocked.
a lot of words that didn't really go together, but okay.
Barracuda says I heard it was someone on the West Coast that first sold Star Starja Bastard.
Another example is this little Volkswagen with the thing on the back. That's perfect advertising for a Volkswagen shop or for anything related to Volkswagens, because everybody would want to know what it is and everybody would be looking at it. So that's what people have to think of. They would be these cars would make them money.
Dean says Japanese people do stuff with such class when they ruin vehicles with too small tire and too big wheels with too much camber changes.
That is very popular over there, but they don't do a lot of driving over there either. It's a very hard seat. Well, too late now. When it's already hurting, it's already hurting.
Pues, ¿no me dijiste antes?
Aren't you asleep?
Brandon says good stuff. It has more ether than other brands.
Hey, it has a spare tire. No license plate, but a spare tire. Good for it. People really can't complain about what I charge them to deliver the vehicle to where we deliver it to, because we're taking all the risk going to these places, transporting them, traveling, doing everything that they don't know how to do in Mexico. They don't have the way to pay for the vehicle if they want to buy one here, because people in the inside of the country cannot accept dollars. So where would they get their pesos changed or their dollars changed into pesos? And then they would be carrying cash on them, which would get them robbed. So yeah, people should be glad to pay what I charge to deliver a vehicle.
Dan says, I thought it was Big Neil's Sasquatch 1 or 2. He's got all the loose West Coast, South Island, and FIFO, Kiwi Australian mining content. That was just careful if you ever use John Deere starting fluid, 80% ether, SYB is about 25%. Dean says they never go to get her when they're copied from AI makes a difference.
This would not be my first color choice to bring it here. A black one. A little too hot to be in our town. Mm-hmm. And if you look close at this one, it needs the hood painted.
Brenda says, I had a 54 Velux sign written, got heaps of work. People love the old girl, got video photos, even by tourists. I suppose they couldn't believe it was a daily work card.
Yeah, when they see something they haven't seen before.
Yeah. Very good. Says, I think you have to be careful not to use too much of it, Granddad, or damage can occur. I just use a dribble of lacquer. Lacquer thinner works great. He says copying content to a YouTube portal, it could get me arrested in some US states.
Well, don't go to the US states.
Mark says, I'm going to head to bed. Looks like I will have a bit of a snow to plow tomorrow. When I get up, that tire I changed, I had to put air in it again.
Jeez. Don't you have a tire shop you can take it to so they can fix it? Or don't they do that stuff anymore? It may be just the bead that's leaking. A rusted rim or something. I get that here all the time.
Good night, Mark.
Good night, Mark. We're going to be getting off here soon too, because it's after 12 o'clock.
Tabo says we have a plumber in the next town over. Still uses a 71 Falcon Ute, original driver as his work vehicle.
That's good. Does he have his name painted on the side of it? That could get him a lot more business
Dean
from
says,
car guys.
Dean says EIP content always works, Brenda. Steven says I still wasn't one of those 93 plus round chargers so bad. I wish they had sold them up here.
You mean this one, Steve? Those are 99 to 2001. The 93 to 96 was still the square body, just like they sold in the US. But the last year, the 96 square body here, the limited edition, was a really, really nice truck inside and out. Really plush. But no four-wheel drives here.
Mark says, with my invalid pension, I have no money. Also, I don't know slash trust anyone around here.
Well, when I take it to a local shop over here, they charge me like $2.50 to fix something like that. So it's not a lot of money here. I don't know what they would charge you over there.
Dean says, I won't tell you who'd sell that truck to in Mataura. It would sell fast.
We can fix the paint on this truck.
Granda says, it's a funny thing when people are watching the old Plymouth. Throws a fit and won't start.
Oh, it's got a personality, just like my Plymouth Fury does. I mean, after all, she is Christine's little sister. She's 5 years older than Christine and has the same personality. They're definitely from the same cloth.
That was says, yeah, name on the door, not a pretty looking ute. Been used for work all its life.
That's nice.
Mark says to Mexican Spec, it's more like $40 here.
That's crazy. Just to fix a leak. And I'm glad the people here don't want to make their whole rent payment on every customer that comes in the door. Because I had them fix a leak. They sanded down the inside of the rim and everything, put the tire back on. I said, so how much is it? He says, I don't know. Go in the office. I went in the office. It was like 40 pesos. And then I gave the guy another 10. Same thing happened when I was on the way. We were on the way to the border with the 81 Valiant Volare. The left rear tire, the brakes were grabbing on it, were holding on it, so it was really, really, really hot. So we got 2 hours up the road, 3 hours up the road, something like that, and it was finally light. The tire shop was open, so I pulled in there and had the guy do a few things. And he's like, well, go in the office and ask them how much it is, and it was like 50 pesos, to do 2 or 3 different things on the car. So of course I gave the guy out there another 50, and I've been back there another time with the Black Dart, and that was even cheaper. It's like, I don't even think we're gonna charge you. No, you gotta take something. You did work. But that's the kind of people that are here, you know. I went to Gustavo's when I picked up the truck. He put in a third lift and moved the compressor that I sold him from up where it was to the front and hasn't hooked it up. He's a tire shop with no air in his shop. I said, well, what do you do when you need to put tires on? Oh, I take them over to this tire shop right over here. And he does it for me. Just hook up your compressor. Not that difficult.
Dean says the Americans need more village idiots. I'm still keen.
They have plenty. You see them on the news all the time.
And then he says, especially in Florida.
All over the country right now.
And then he says, Plymouth is the bomb. 1 year into the depression, what a car. Barracuda says, I was having real trouble getting my vacay Commodore started one morning on holiday. Luckily, my daughter's impulse spray perfume brought it to life. Mark says, nice.
And did you let her use the perfume after that? It's flammable.
Most perfumes are Granda says the big boss is seeing an old car putting around. It's nice to see something different from plastic rubbish.
Yeah.
Dean says I could sell it even sooner with black stripes. Hey, Barracuda? Mark says night.
Good night, Mark.
Dean says that's electronic spark control Barracuda. It is a 5-speed 1900 or an automatic 3.3. Brenda said the perfume and hairspray are great. Fire lighters like a flamethrower.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened with my 63 Fury. When I bought her, she was sitting from 1977 until 1982 when I bought her. I learned very quickly what left-hand thread is on the left side of the car. Didn't know anything about it, couldn't get the wheel off, so I took the wheel and the drum to a gas station. I don't know how I did that because I was on a bicycle. To a gas station, the guy's like, "What's the problem?" What? Okay, he showed me there was left-hand threads. Okay, so from then on, I knew. Now, I got her to my house, really, really expired plates on her and everything, but it took me 7 months to get that car running because I didn't know anything about cars at the time. I was in auto shop at school, but I didn't know that, number one, you do this, number two, you do that. So I finally got her running after 7 months. Now she has the exhaust manifolds because she's a 361 that come up over the spark plugs. And I was looking at her and looking at the exhaust manifolds and thinking, I really wait for the day that I burn my arm on those exhaust manifolds because that would mean she's running. Well, I got her running after 7 months. She was only running on 7 cylinders because she's got a burn valve. She still has that same burn valve. She's only ever run on 7 cylinders with me, but she's got plenty of power, so I don't care. And this one girl that I liked was a redhead, and my car did not like her. Picture the scene in Christine where Christine has a problem with his girlfriend. My car did not try to kill this girl, but every time she got in the car would stop running. She would die at the side of the road or something. And you would think after all these years, after 40 years, that was my imagination, right? No. When I got the car here, like in 2010, I sent her a message on whatever, Instagram or whatever, and I said, "Remember my first car?" She says, "Yeah, the one that stalled every time I got into her." It's like, yeah, that's the one. Now the car had no problems with her little sister, her 13-year-old sister. No problem if she was in the car. But this girl, she was bad news, and the car was absolutely right. Absolutely right. So yeah, she has the same personality that Christine had. And I'm fine with it.
Brenda says the perfume and hairspray. Wait, believe says. Wait. Dean says best wishes, Mark. May you find proper, trustworthy connects. Josh says Lincoln has to be American.
I don't know, Josh. The car was sold in Mexico when it was new. Comes with the original factura, the original invoice when it was sold new here. So it was probably an American car that was sold in Mexico, made in the U.S. but sold here because there was no production here in 1948.
Dean says canned air, and then they say that's what took Michael Jackson's hair out.
Yep, sure did.
Dean says that and Chinese fireworks. Peace be upon the Chinese. Brenda says my wife Kim likes this car. Dean says she's got taste. Brenda Chuck. Regular says it had been repowered with an old Rico High Comp 202. It was in good condition, but since then I suspect the timing gears weren't aligned properly. Brenda says weapon of death, that hairspray. That was a 60 Dart. We had those in one trim level part Dart Phoenix with poly V8.
Yeah, that one probably has a 6-cylinder though. Unless it's a US model, then it's a V8.
It says note, Mexican Spectre no longer likes redheads. You're safe, Mrs. Mexican Spec. He'll be faithful.
Dean, you have no idea. Dean, you have no idea because she was a redhead, her little sister was a redhead, and I have redheads in my family. And believe it or not, when I let my beard grow, it's also red. And with my experience with redheads, and I don't care what anybody else's experience is they all have mental problems. And that stems from the fact that from when they're very young, they get extra attention because of the color of their hair. Then when they get older, that attention goes away and it just created a personality in them that they just can't get along with anybody else. If you look for that personality in redheads, you're going to see it. If they're original redhead, not anybody that colors their hair, that's a different thing.
Believes it's 1948, the year my mother was born.
But
Nothing.
read the next one. It's about you.
Why am I not? I wasn't on all messages. Josh says not on the sign that they
No,
misspelled.
granddad's junk.
Those the Plymouth conk out when Mrs. Mixie gets in. What?
No, and that's for two reasons. When I brought the car into Mexico, I registered it to her. So she is actually the owner of the car. And number two, she has no problem with Mrs. Mexican Spec. The last time we took her out, Mrs. Mexican Spec and I went to have dinner. I had my son in the back seat. He was 7 years old or something. We went to eat. My son fell asleep on the back seat. It touched my heart because it's the first time that he's ever been in one of my old cars that did it. He did the exact same thing that I used to do in my parents' cars like that. And like in the 73 Olds 98, I would just be asleep on the back seat. And then we brought the car back here, and basically from there, the car has been in the backyard because I don't want to risk her out on the roads here. I want to get her into nicer condition. But I'll tell you something with her. I let her sit behind my dad's house in Las Vegas for 20 years. Just sitting there. Never moved, never started. The car was towed to the Arizona border, crossed into Mexico. Somebody else took it, brought the car to me here. Then I had it towed to my house. I put a battery in her, disconnected the fuel tank, put some fuel down the carburetor, and she started right up. No leaky radiator, no leaky fuel pump, no leaky anything after sitting for 20 years. Well, more than 20 years because I really wasn't driving her before I parked her there. But yeah, she's just a really, really solid car.
Sorry.
Now, what did y'all say?
Steven says, okay, I need to get to bed too. Hope you feel better soon. When I feel a cold coming on, cold, easy, sink tonic water, I always makes it much less severe for me anyway. Night all.
Thank you, Steve, but I don't know if this is a cold. Now, remember when we went to go buy the Ram Charger, Mrs. Speck and I took two different buses to get where we needed to go. And there were a lot of people on that bus, and who knows what they had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I need my doctor to check me out because I can't assume that it's a cold or it's anything else. And it's been a whole week. It's been over a week.
Yeah.
So, and it's not getting any better. So that's why I need to go see the doctor.
Thank you for being here, Steven.
And spend that money. Josh said something before that, though.
Josh says not on the sign that they misspelled burgers.
Josh, that is how they spell burgers in Mexico. Like Burguers. They threw a U in there for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't question it. That's just how they are here.
But it says this is a logical explanation. The first ones I've heard to explain redhead crazy.
It worked for me. Every one of them that I've ever known, including family members, were like that.
Sabo says Mr. Mike's has dropped out by the sound of it. Yeah, I did. Your microphone died, so I switched it to mine.
Oh, okay, then I'll put it between us.
No,
I can still cough with my other hand.
No, here,
Let's see how long it'll stay on. I guess this is going to tell us when we get the hell off. Guys, we're losing sound here, so we're gonna have to go.
Yeah, the microphones are dead.
Yeah, the microphones are dying or dead.
Yeah.
So we overstayed our welcome. So thank you everybody for being here. It's mostly the down unders talking to themselves anyway. Thank you everybody for being here. And we will see you very soon on a bunch of lives, or I will. And then we should be back soon for another one. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Now to charge the microphones.
Yeah.